Welcome to the fourth and final video in our series of tutorials on our NVMe programs for Linux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to license the software, but we're also going to pull together some of the important concepts introduced in the previous videos. For example, the screen that you're seeing right now is being displayed after a fresh reboot. I have booted up the computer from power off. So I want to show you the basic steps that need to be accomplished in order to run our software, which we have already discussed. But the very first thing that is very important is that you are running as a super user. Very important to do that. Next, we're going to go to our software and we're going to run the setup script. There we go. Now we are able to actually run our software. So I'm going to the NVMe QRWT program, and as you may recall, the NVMe device under test in this system is at 100. Let's check it. There we go. 100 is the NVMe drive that we're going to test. So NVMe QRWT, supplying the coordinates 1:0:0. The program comes up and you will notice that it is now no longer running in evaluation mode. That's because we have a valid license on this system now, and the customer information is displayed up here, but that would be customized for your particular application using your company name and your name, depending on what information you provide to us. There are actually two ways to license this software, and one of them is where you would obtain a license file that would allow the software to run on this computer and this computer only. The other way is to request a USB dongle, and that's the method that I'm using right here. Actually, I have a USB dongle inserted in this system, and that has the license file on it. And what this allows you to do is to move the license from one computer to another. So if that would be attractive to you, then please let us know that that's the type of license you would like to have. And you can receive a physical USB dongle. But what I'm trying to illustrate here in this example is that on this computer at this time, the software is running in full operational mode, which means for NVMe QRWT, the number of active queues is not limited to 8, but it's limited to the maximum number of queues that the drive supports. And in the case of the NVMe test program, scripts are allowed, along with some other features. And those details are described in more detail in our documentation. So let's take a look at the process for licensing the software. If you wish to have a file that is locked to this specific computer, you will find in this directory, actually in both directories, the QRWT and the test directories, a file called activate.pdf, and that contains the detailed instructions for licensing the software. Let's take a quick look at that document. It's under HPS, code, QRWT, or test, activate.pdf. The file is in both of those directories. This PDF file tells you exactly what to do in order to license the software, and it tells you how to gather the info for your computer, which I'm going to demonstrate in just a moment, and then how to send that info to HPS. We will then return the license to you after payment has been made. So This file is important. It contains very detailed instructions for the licensing process. Let me just walk you through that very quickly. You would use the calc.sys file on your computer to gather the information about your computer. And it requires a parameter, typically a file name called info.txt. I'm going to run it without the parameter just to show you what happens. And there's the usage. So typically what you would type here is info.txt. And this is going to ask you for some info. For example, your first name. I'll use my first name and my last name. And then I'm just going to go ahead and hit return for all the rest of these fields. You would fill in the fields that make the most sense. And now you have generated a file called info.txt. And there it is right there. Now it's very important that you do not edit this file or manipulate it in any way. But this is the file that you would send to High Performance Storage. sales@highperfstore.com is the email address. And once arrangements for payment have been made, the license would be supplied to you in return. So that's it, folks. It covers the two basic forms of licensing that we support. A computer-based license where the license is tied to one particular computer. And the way that works is you generate the info.txt file, and then you receive in return a file called hpsi.lic, and you would simply drop it into this folder right here, right where the executable lives, and then you would be licensed on this computer only. The other option is for you to request a USB dongle, and with that option, you're able to move the license from one computer to another at will. That's it for this series of video, folks. Thank you very, very much for your time, and we look forward to serving you.